we got a big problem. So, like I said, I don't know what the Conservatives are preserving or even care about outside of a few culture war issues. But that leads the question, who do you vote for if you aren't going to vote incumbent? Now, I obviously would say the NDP. But we're kind of in a two-party system, aren't we? Like, the NDP came close under Jack Layton, sure. But they kind of had a falling out after that, and they've never been really close again. Now, I'm hoping Avi Lewis can get them back on track. And, I mean, that there right there, I'm going to lose, whoever I had on board, I'm going to lose them at that point. Because I do think right now the NDP are the only ones that actually seem to have a true vision that can help us, both short and long term, and can keep our country morally on the right track. When I grew up, I used to think, every country looked up to Canada because we went around the world helping out countries that were in the right but needed help to overcome obstacles, whether it be war or famine or whatever. And I didn't realize how we lost our way. Partly due to the U.S. I mean, look, a lot of these issues, it comes up because of our proximity to the U.S. That's why a lot of countries in Europe don't have these same problems. And it's, it's actually the fact that we've been able to hold on to this, being so close to the U.S. and being a country that the U.S. liked. Look, the U.S. does not like Mexico in terms, they're always yelling at Mexico about the border and all that stuff. So the fact that they liked us, they welcomed us, and we were still able to hold on to some semblance of morality is a big deal. I think we should get a lot of credit for that. I mean, that's why I am proud to be Canadian. But we need to fight harder, and we need to do more. And I think the NDP are the only ones who are standing up for what's right in the Middle East. They're standing up with what's right for Canadians, not only when it comes to Trump, but when it comes to corporations as well. Look, I think the next thing we really need to focus on is the cost of living, the economy. I mean, look, it's not good for the rest of us. Right now, the global economy is terrible. Everything is overpriced, everything. And there is a solution, and it's called taxing the rich. I mean, there's other solutions, but that's the best one, I think, because I don't want to do the other stuff. It seems like a lot of work. This is simple, and it helps everyone. And also, price gouging. I mean, that's what we've been seeing for a decade, is price gouging. Maybe two, maybe 1.5, but at least one. At least one. Anytime there's a situation, they raise the prices, and do the prices ever come back down? No. The only price that kind of goes back down is gas, but even that, it doesn't go down as much as it should. Now, if you are in an area like I am, I don't want to say where it is because you guys are all going to come and buy the gas, but I get pretty good gas prices where I am. Some areas don't get as good gas prices, but again, they at least fluctuate up and down, and you can see them daily. But when's the last time, milk or butter or chips, potato chips, I don't know who's watching this, where they're from, but we call them chips here. We got ketchup chips and regular chips and all-dressed chips, barbecue, all that stuff. But when did those come back down? Why are they so expensive? I mean, those are just potatoes, and we grow a lot of potatoes. So what the heck's going on there? But the economy sucks, and the NDP seem to be the only ones talking about it Although I guess the Conservatives recently talked about it a little bit when it comes to the whole condo fiasco going on in Vancouver, but that's beside the point. The NDP seem to be the only ones actually posing solutions, such as having federally run stores or federally run manufacturers and industries that compete in the current marketplace, and they kind of give you that bottom line of like what it actually costs to make this stuff. They sell it at basically cost. I think that's a fantastic idea. I really do. I think if, this is going back to the history portion, but we used to have some federally run industries, and the Conservatives didn't like that. They didn't want to conserve that part of Canadian history, that part of our culture. No, they wanted to conserve, I don't know what. They're not really conserving anything, are they? They're just doing their own weird progressive agenda, progressing in some weird direction towards an oligarchical dystopian nightmare, I guess, because they don't care about any of the outdoor activities that you might do, hunting, fishing, camping. Like, we have so many amazing parks to go to. They don't care about them at all. They would demolish them for some weird, AI data center. They don't care. That's not conserving anything. If they could get money by selling the rights to change the flag, they would. They wouldn't conserve that either. They would change the name of the country too. They don't care. But at least the NDP are putting forth ideas that are tried and true. They worked before. We can go through the history. We will do that. We will have a little history day. We'll go through it. But that's sort of where I think I'm either going to lose or gain people based on that. Because that's pretty true to what this is going to be. And if you stick around, I'm sure you will see some positive aspects about what I'm trying to impart to you. Because, like I said, I think a lot of people are misinformed, and it's not all their fault. Like, we just have a bad system in place that doesn't want you to be able to understand the information you're being given, because you wouldn't like it. They don't want you to not be happy with it. Now, a lot of people are getting to that point, and that's why we're seeing all over the world, not just US, not just Canada, in Europe right now, the big three, including England in that too, but Europe as a whole, the big three have some of the most unpopular politicians in the world. Like, there's Trump next door, and people in Europe hate their own politicians more. That's embarrassing. This is an embarrassing point in history right now, where you got all these weak, ineffective politicians all over the place. And it's because they want to maintain status quo. They cannot wrap their minds around the fact that their way didn't work. It hasn't been working for years, for decades. Really, since the 70s, to be honest. But it took until now to get to this point where things are so broken, things are so awful, that we need true societal change. Like, some companies should straight up be banned. Some companies should be taxed into oblivion. They do nothing. And yet, it's the people that get taxed into oblivion. I mean, look, taxes are important. There's another thing. We'll probably talk about this. Taxes are important. I know everyone wants to not pay any taxes, but then you would be living in a terrible place. Like, this is what I'm talking about. People do not understand. Like, they say, oh, my taxes are being wasted. They are. Look, that's true, but not in the way you think and not in the amount you think. And if you think that if they would just, lower your taxes but not change anything else, that, that would be the way to go, no. Like, because of right now the setup that we have, we need to change the tax code where, yes, you pay less, but other people pay more. Without that, the current way of life, which is, right, it's not great. Like I said, it's a lot of issues right now. It could get much worse. And so this is where people are really a mess when it comes to what to do. Like, they don't want to pay taxes, but then I hear, like, look, I'm in a community that has an older population, and they want more benefits towards healthcare. I do too, but they want to pay less taxes. And then they don't want to support initiatives that would raise taxes on rich people, raise taxes on corporations. All they want to, like, they're going to say, like, oh, if you just did away with, like, Canada Post, then we wouldn't need to. No, like, see, people just don't even understand what's going on there. This is why we're doing this channel, because there's just weird gotcha headlines that will mention an issue tangentially, but it won't actually be as impactful as people think, like the Canada Post thing, in terms of how much is Canada bailing out Canada Post, that kind of stuff. People will see that and be like, see, my taxes are going, like, look, no. So we're going to get into all that. Stay tuned for that.